The boardroom went dead silent when they told me to pack up my things. Effective immediately, one of them said, like he was reading the weather. I smiled, thanked them, and walked out without a word of protest. They thought I was finished. They thought the funeral had buried me, too. Monday would prove them wrong. I can still see the first day I met Richard Hayes, a man they laid to rest last week. The first handshake felt like he already knew who I was, what I'd become. Richard had that rare kind of instinct. He could read people faster than any contract. I was straight out of law school, cocky, ambitious, hungry. He saw that spark, maybe even too much of it. He gave me everything: trust, access, mentorship. I didn't just work under him, I grew beside him. I wasn't his assistant. I was his shadow. The kind of connection that makes people whisper. Richard had no kids, no real family. I guess, in his eyes, I became both protégé. Maybe that's why betrayal tasted worse coming from the board. The same people who once toasted me at dinners now smiled too widely, pretending I still mattered. I saw it, all the glances, the whispers after meetings, the phone calls that stopped when I walked in. At first, I blamed my imagination. But paranoia doesn't leave lipstick stains on contracts. It doesn't hide money in shell companies run by cousins and golf buddies. It doesn't send anonymous emails warning that once Richard was gone, I'd be next. They mistook my silence for ignorance. But I wasn't blind, I was preparing. The day Richard called me to his hospital room, he looked fragile, pale, and thin, but his eyes still burned with that same sharp light. "They'll eat you alive when I'm gone," he rasped, his voice low and rough. Then he handed me a folder. Inside was a transfer, 51%. The company, his empire, was now mine. He managed a weak smile. "You don't fight wolves with teeth," he said. "You fight them with the leash." I never told anyone. Not when I stood by his grave accepting the board's hollow condolences. Not when they started treating me like a temporary stand-in. Not even when they called me in and fired me, acting like they were doing me a favor. I walked away quietly because real power doesn't need to shout, it waits. The days that followed were deliberate, step by step. Step 1, let them relax. I knew their arrogance would explode the moment I was gone. They'd laugh, celebrate, and believe they'd finally cut loose the last threat. Step 2, build the trap. I spoke to no one but my attorney, the same one Richard trusted with everything. By Monday, the papers would be ready. Not for court. Courts are noisy and messy. I wanted precision. Step 3, set out the dominoes. I called partners, suppliers, and investors in the quiet hours of the night. Calm, careful, deliberate. Every one of them confirmed what I already knew: the board didn't care about loyalty, only money. And money always follows control. Step 4, wait. The hardest step of all. But patience was my weapon. Monday morning, I walked into headquarters wearing the same calm smile I'd worn when they fired me. The receptionist froze, unsure whether to stop me, but she didn't. People rarely question someone who walks like they own the place. I pushed open the boardroom doors mid-meeting. Papers fluttered, laughter stopped cold. "Thought we asked you to leave?" One of them sneered. "You did," I said, setting the folder on the table. "But you can't fire an owner." Silence fell thick and heavy. Confusion spread, then fear. One by one, they opened the documents, Richard's signature, the legal seals, everything airtight. "You can't," one of them stammered, his voice cracking. "Oh, but I can," I said softly. Richard made sure of it. The truth hit them like poison. They weren't just powerless, they were caught. Every shady deal, every dollar they'd siphoned, every secret conflict, it was all about to surface. "I could make this public," I said evenly, "or we can settle it quietly." Resignations. Effective immediately. No noise, no scandal. They exchanged looks, panic creeping in. Wolves stripped of their teeth. One by one, they gave in. Some signed with trembling hands, others with eyes full of anger. None dared resist. When I walked out of that room, I didn't smile. Not yet. Real victory isn't when you win, it's the silence after. When your enemies finally understand they've lost everything. That night, I poured myself a drink and sat by the window, watching the city lights blink below. I thought about Richard, his gravelly voice, his warning, his faith in me. They buried him last week. They tried to bury me, too. But on Monday, I reminded them I don't go quietly. And now, they'll never forget it.